Good morning and welcome back to another episode of the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. We got the live start sit show. We're kicking off at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, and whatever time it is in Ireland. We're live right now with your start sit questions right here on the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. What's up, everybody? Good morning and welcome in. Shout out to all of our Dublin fans peeling away from the game to watch our show live right here on YouTube. This is the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. I am your host, Sky Guasco. That's SkyGuasco on the Xbox. I got my man, Davey Cruz, up next. Cruiser128. Jeffrey Kezar at Jefferson__21. And Derek Favret at Derek_Favret. Our fearless leader is away celebrating the Ducks win on a cruise with the misses, so we'll get Maddie Styles back off a bye next week. But we're very excited to bring you all your start sit questions. I got a bunch of you guys in the chat already. Stoked and good morning. Also, anybody waking up, they sit, so many of our viewers set their alarm on a Sunday morning, wake up, boom, coffee in hand, Razzball Fantasy Football Show. If you're unaware, overseas in the UK, we do have a football game brewing as we speak. The Steelers and the Vikings underway, making it happen. Shout out to all of our Kenny Gainwell fans. So we'll get into our questions. Before we do that, we'll shake off some of the rust here. Had a big game of college football yesterday. We had a number of upsets. We had some huge rivalry games as well. Number 3, 4, and 5 in the country go down. So we got some mix up in the top 5, top 6 for you JV football fans out there. But today it's varsity day. Let's get into it. Davey Cruz, I'm going to kick it off with you. Anybody sports in a Giants hat on this program gets to go first. That's the rules. Good morning. What are you welcoming and excited for first in week 4 coming in here for fantasy football?
Hey, good morning. I can tell you have no Irish people at your house, because if you call Ireland part of the UK, you're in for a fight, man.
Fair. That's fair. Okay.
that could get ugly really quick.
I'm just looking at geography, but you're right. You are correct. I'm Italian, so it's even worse, but go ahead.
I'm wearing a San Francisco Giants hat, but I bleed the blue of the New York Football Giants, and we have a shiny new quarterback starting today.
Yeah.
So let's go get them Chargers and get a win, even though it will torpedo me in our pick'em pool.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. And yes, apologies. First of all, it's 8 a.m. I haven't slept. And you're right, Dave. Now that I'm recounting, that was an error on my side. I apologize. I was more talking about the landmass. But yes, that's an American ignorance. And I apologize to all of our Ireland fans. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, we're all ugly Americans here.
Yeah, fair.
Well, I'm stoked about our matchup, Sky. I like to call out a friendly wager, Jags Niners.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want? You want like a it's like a 13.5 point handicap or what?
I bet 20 on it. Jags win.
Ooh. You guys want Mac Jones back? How about that?
Yeah, you keep that.
All right. How about this? If the Jags win, I'll get you a Jimmy Smith jersey. If the Niners win, I want a Tom Rathman 1994 retro.
A jersey bet. This is big time.
Hey man, you brought it up, dude. I can't even. My brain's not even working right now. But you start throwing out. We can talk off air. We'll figure it out.
I like that.
Either way,
that should be fun.
Yeah. How about a big game for Cam Little and the rest of your boys take the day off? I'll take that.
That possibly could happen. But on a personal note, keep it on brand for Razzball. I'm in the championship day of my baseball league. We're tied 4-4. It's going to be fun watching baseball and football today, so I can't wait.
All right. Bob's not here anymore. Styles isn't here to keep us on track as he usually does. We need your top 3 position players in that league and your top 2 pitchers. Who you got?
Scooble and Woo, but he's injured, unfortunately. And then it's Christopher Sanchez. So got some good 3 pitchers there. My best bats, Acuna, Tucker, and a lot of guys are on the IL. I've been kind of screwed, but Probably the third one I'd probably say is polar bear.
Love it. Polar bear.
Was this like
Shouts
an
out to
8x8 league or what?
That's a 10-man league.
No,
Keeper
he's
league.
stacking it, bro.
We
Oh,
drafted-
keeper league. Okay, that helps a little bit.
Yeah, we drafted 4 years ago, so been pretty fortunate.
Nice. Shout out to the New York baseball Mets. I recall last year, somebody on the panel drafted Ronald Acuna first overall, which is a no-brainer, obviously, per the advice of another person on the panel. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. We can't predict injuries, but it did ruin my entire season. I'm still bitter. Derek, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Morning.
What are you doing for?
Yeah. Well, first of all, anchor down, of course. I mean, this is getting pretty monotonous now because it's happening every week, but got to start out there. Now, actually, before the show started, in the background, we were talking about a couple of perennial Super Bowl teams, and one of them will end the day, barring a tie at 1-3, and that's crazy.
Wild.
But game of the afternoon, well, I would say the game of the day, but we know the Jags Niners is the game of the day. But the game of the afternoon. Actually, no, it's an early start. Am I right? No, it's afternoon start. Yeah, game of the afternoon. Baltimore at Kansas City. It'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. Should be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely wild. I mean, it's supposed to be Green Bay and Dallas. At least, how about this? AFC, we'll go KC and Baltimore. NFC, it's supposed to be Green Bay and Dallas. But, I mean, for our boy Styles and in general, I'm hoping for, just personally, and I'm really thinking if Green Bay actually shows up, this game could be 3 touchdowns.
But in truth, though, that game is a defensive player versus the owner of the other team. That's really what that game is. So
sure, but I think those things, when they're real, we talk a lot. I mean, in fantasy, it's just fun. Like my boy Mariota has a revenge game every time he plays because he's been on 6 teams now. Those don't matter 90% of the time. The only time a revenge game, in my opinion, matters is if there's any bad blood for some reason. Most of the time, it's actually coaches that we don't talk about in the game. But like that's the type of stuff that actually matters in old past relationships. With the Micah Parsons thing in Dallas, dude, I think that's like the whole Green Bay defense and the entire team of the Packers wants him to be successful and them to smash on Dallas. And it's just an NFC rival and playoff history back to Favre and Aikman and all this stuff. So I just think if the Packers show up, that one's going to be a boat race real early.
Yeah, you got to take care of your new teammate. So I agree. I think Green Bay is just going to steamroll them.
Yeah, same. It'll be really interesting. I was looking through the pick'em this week, and there's probably usually it's kind of like, all right, either it's just an auto favorite or there's really just some discrepancies in good teams and bad teams already in 3 weeks. So some of these picks, at least pregame when we pick them, are kind of like auto clicks. I'd say half the schedule this week we're like, wait a minute, I'm picking the Bears, like, wait a minute, I'm picking New England. I like Tennessee. These kind of games are like kind of weird. They're just teams I wouldn't expect, but in the particular matchups, that's where we're at. So we're going to get to our pick'ems in a little bit. Again, Matty Styles is out for the week. He's on a bye here, so he's enjoying some personal time. He'll be back with us next week. But we do have many of you already in the chat. We're really stoked to have everybody here. Let me give a shout out while I can, and we'll get to our questions here. We got Jeff Marks up first, as always. I feel like Jeff probably lives. Where do you guys think? I think Jeff lives in, what is it, like Newfoundland? Or like it's a little bit farther. You guys are East Coasters. Somebody help me out. It's Derek. It's a little bit farther than New England. It's like one more time zone, isn't it? What is that up there?
New Brunswick.
New Brunswick. Thank you. Not Newfoundland. That's a country. My bad. Man, I'm killing it this morning. New Brunswick. I think Jeff's up there because he's always like here before we are, which I love that. David rolling in as well. Jets fan. Good morning. And can we have a moment of silence for Jets fan in the Guillotine League from last week real quick? R.I.P., my man. Jets fan, Jeff's fan, and your boy gone in the G League. Derek and Dave handle business. Epic fail, always here as well. GR, and this is looks like a Billiam Jones sighting pretty early with only 2 emojis, and they look concerning. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Who?
Like lightning. That's a Billiam Jones, of course. Like lightning with my boy Harbaugh, and the rest of the squad rolling in as well. Hope you guys are enjoying the football game early this morning in the Not UK. Let's get to the questions here. Jeff Marks is up first. Good morning. Let's get into the full PPR. That's the only setting that matters. My boy Ricky P, fully healthy and suiting up. Travis Etienne and Calvin Ridley, who might have one of those, like, we're hyping him up, let's feed him extra targets games this week. Again, full PPR, pick one. Ricky P, Etienne, Calvin Ridley. Davey, you're up first this week.
Well, first, if I could revisit a past subject, if Micah lays a hit on Jerry, I'll buy Sky a 1994 Tom Rathman jersey.
If we're Dave, if that's the wager, I appreciate your honesty, but do you mind if I request maybe a Ronnie Lott instead in that particular circumstance? Cool.
Well, all depends on what team. Because Ronnie Lott played on a bunch of teams. If we're talking 1994, it's a Jets jersey, dude. So
yeah, we're not doing that. Never mind. Sorry, that was a miss. We'll go with Ricky. How about Ricky Waters instead?
There you go. Who immediately departed for the Eagles as soon as they won the Super Bowl. I'm going to go with Travis Etienne here. I know the 49ers don't allow a lot of points to any position, really, maybe a few to the tight ends, but I'm going to play Etienne as the volume play. Ricky Pearsall makes me a little bit nervous this week with the knee injury. It sounds like he's going to be okay, and he could get fed a bunch, but I'm going to go with Etienne.
Yeah, in the PPR, I've been hyping up Ridley all year, but I think Kyle Manor is now the guy now. He's just a better player, younger, faster, just everything you want. Houston is a beatable defense, but I think Ricky P is going to have a big day against the Jags secondary. A lot of turnovers, but they can get beat. And I think with Jawan Jennings coming back, that's going to help him actually. Purdy's back, so I'm going to go Ricky P on this one.
Yeah, it's going to be Ricky P for me as well. Cincinnati gives up a lot of points out wide, and I don't know, Pearsall's going to be the main guy outside of CMC, of course, and with Jennings probably going to play, probably limited. I think he's focused. They're going to focus on him a little bit more. So I like the Pearsall play.
Same. I'll just roll bias today, kicking it off here. Ricky P, being healthy enough, I like it a lot. And, man, we haven't really gotten too nerdy on the ADOT stuff yet. It just hasn't really come up on the program. But ADOT is basically average depth of target, meaning how far the ball actually travels before the guy catches it. Some guys are mid-range. Some guys are bombers. Jameis Winston, obviously a bomber. But Ricky Pearsall and the 49ers offense is usually a low ADOT, like Deebo Samuel and stuff with those crossers for yak yards. That's not been the case. His ADOT's like 12 or 15, which is outrageous. So if they can just get him some more short area targets, I think he'd have even a bigger season. I like that matchup a lot. I'll go Ricky P also. And Jeff, I 100% agree that our boy Calvin Ridley is sliding into the wide receiver 2 in Tennessee quickly.
Yeah.
David, good morning. We got Drake May or Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is crushing in fantasy. We don't talk about it when Matt's here, but we can certainly celebrate it when he's not. He's killing it. Dave, who you got?
Yeah, I know the Panthers have some injuries on the interior of the defense, but their secondary is pretty legit to me. And Caleb Williams is going up against one of the most generous pass defenses. So I'm going to take Williams here.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the hot hand with Caleb Williams as well. Vegas, I just don't think it's that good. Sorry, Dave. They've let me down on my pick'ems, and I think Ben Johnson's going to keep rolling.
You don't need to be sorry to me. They suck.
I was gonna say. I mean, we've just made Dave an actual Raiders fan because he was, when they were actually good and he lives in the area. But Jeff, I feel like, I mean, you know, I love you, bro, but I feel like this is almost you've let yourself down picking the Raiders in pick'em. Is that fair?
Yeah, you know, I got bamboozled. Pete Carroll, Gino, I just thought it was going to work out. Genty there, he's kind of been at average at best as a rookie, not getting all the carries. I just thought their defense is going to step up. I thought it was going to be, you know, a bounce back year for the Raiders, and just hasn't occurred.
Until Gruden comes back, I would fade the Raiders. Derek, who you got?
Yeah, it's going to be Caleb for me as well in Vegas. I actually expect that to be a higher scoring game. And like you said, one of you said, Caleb actually been pretty good for fantasy. You know, it's not always fun to watch, but you don't mind the box score at the end. So kind of like a Kyler Murray type. Yeah, give me Caleb Williams and let's keep rolling.
I don't have Caleb Williams in any leagues. It's for personal reasons. I have Drake May in about 3. So I'm playing Drake May personally. If I had both this particular week with everything going on, I would go Caleb Williams. The Bears look nice. You can drop DJ Moore, but everybody else has been a lot of fun. Jets fan, good morning. Thank you for sticking with us, and welcome back. Also, good energy in the G League chat, man. Guillotine League is a tough one. It's not for the faint of heart, and you can get booted real quick. And I got to say, you know, Davy Cruz is still alive and well. He could win the league at this point. It's open game. You've been slipping by the skin of your teeth, my man, every single week. Just don't be last, and you haven't been last, so that works out.
I am an endangered species in that league. I didn't have a lot of depth to begin with. Tyrone Tracy going down is maybe the dagger.
We'll see, man. It's week to week in G League. It's a lot of fun. So, Jets fan, thanks for sticking with us, man. We appreciate your support always. Pick one for the following to sit. So we're picking one to sit. We're going to be, of course, starting the rest then. So reverse here. Picking one to sit, half PPR. Breece Hall, Bucky Irving, Egbuka, Keenan Allen, Cortland Sutton, and Garrett Wilson. Nice roster, my man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want to sit any of those guys. I guess if I had to, it would be, wow, maybe Sutton. I really can't see anybody else there I want to sit. I think the Miami Jets game, I think the Jets may actually score some points this week. Justin Fields is coming back, and I know he's not great to the wide receivers, but Garrett Wilson is pretty much the only real weapon they have in the receiving game. So yeah, I guess I'll sit Cortland Sutton. Keenan Allen has just been money, and I'm never telling anybody to sit Egbuka again.
Wise words. I think I'm going to have to agree with you. I do like Sutton, but I think this could be a route for the Broncos and game script go against Sutton. It's hard to predict the future, but I like all the other matchups. I think Miami and the Jets will be a close game, actually. So I'm going to sit Sutton.
Yeah, this one's tough for me as well. If I just look one-on-one on all the matchups, I actually think Bucky has the worst individual matchup in that game. But, volume and Tampa will be just, fine. I mean, they're not going to be shut out by Philly, but yeah, this is really hard. It's just a gut call for me, and I'm actually going to sit Keenan Allen despite his, current production. The Chargers facing the Giants. Giants have the best pass rush in the game, so it's going to be contingent on the Chargers to pass block. And at some point, they just have to get Ladd McConkey into play. And to me, it just feels like we're going to see the lad from last year this week. And if that's the case, then someone else is going to get a little bit less action. And again, just a hunch for me, but to me, it's going to be Keenan Allen who's going to kind of get the, maybe the 4 for 55, and which is not awful, but that's not obviously what we want with a group of players like this. So I'm going to sit Keenan Allen and see what happens.
Boy, I'm in between both answers here, and they're two of my favorite players, Cortland Sutton and Keenan Allen. For 1 second, I was like, are we too excited about the Jets? And I was just like, no. Primetime Miami's arguably the worst team in football right now, despite a valiant effort last week against Buffalo for 3 quarters. I respected that effort. Boy, I feel like Garrett Wilson might actually be the right answer at the end of the week. But I'm also going to fade Keenan Allen. And I hate it, but the only reason I'm going to do that, I think, is because QJ is on fire, obviously. Amarian Hampton now is full send, and he's going to be a big part of the passing game. They have 2 nice tight ends that are not on the fantasy radar, but getting a lot of targets from Justin Herbert, and McConkey has to get going soon. And they're trying. They're just not connecting yet, and I think that might happen this week. So I will reluctantly fade Keenan Allen as well. Epic Fail, good morning and welcome back. Looks like we got a double up here for Epic Fail. Morning, PPR, flex start. We got 2. Keenan Allen again versus the Giants, Dobbins versus the Bungles, Pickens versus Green Bay, and Debo versus Atlanta. And then can we get the follow-up here just because I think maybe it helps I think this is a double league, right? Is this like a second league situation? We also got the T-Law or Bryce Young. I love to see Bryce Young back in the picture. I was really hyped on him preseason. So you guys can just roll out both if you'd like. Pick 2 for this question and then choose your quarterback.
Yeah, I'm still on Keenan Allen, and I'm going to go with Dobbins here. I just don't like the matchup for Pickens in Dallas against Green Bay. I think they're going to have a lot of problems, even though the game could be a shootout. I know CeeDee Lamb is out. That actually makes me like Pickens a little bit less. I always like Pickens better as a wide receiver 2 on his team than a wide receiver 1. And the Commanders are just a shell of what's left. McLaurin's out. Jaden Daniels is out. The second tight end is out. Noah Brown is out. I guess Debo's the last man standing, but again, I kind of shy away from a guy in that case. I'm going to go with Allen and Dobbins.
Yeah, I'm going to second that one, Dave. I know we just talked about fading Allen, but I just love what Allen's doing. It's like he hasn't left the Chargers and Justin Herbert. He's leading the team in targets. And the matchup against the Giants is actually a great matchup for him. The Giants allow the second most points to slot receivers thus far. Thank you for our slot versus wide tool on Razzball.com, free for everybody. And Keenan Allen was my pick of the week for starting. I'm going to stick with that. And then secondly, Dobbins. It's a great game script match. I think Dobbins has a big game against Cincinnati. So those are my 2 picks.
Yeah, I'm going to concur with what Dave just said with Pickens. I like him a lot better as a 2 as well. So as a number 1 going against Green Bay, it's just not really a matchup that I want to chase after. And then, looking at Debo, you might think that with McLaurin out that, he's going to be more of a focus, and maybe he will. I mean, there's a lot of question marks in the running game there too. But, I go back to last week against the Raiders at home. Fairly weak defense versus wide receiver with Mariota at quarterback, and he was targeted just 3 times. So you could make an argument that with McLaurin out, that might go up a little bit, but Atlanta's coming off that embarrassing loss. I don't like that either. So despite what I just said in the last question, in this one I'm gonna roll with Allen and Dobbins versus the Bengals.
I'm just looking a little deeper here on if AJ Terrell, A, he's healthy. Can we confirm that? And then B, I'm looking right here, 2022, AJ Terrell shadowed Terry McLaurin 74% of his routes, also in a 2024 match out, and shut him down almost completely.
I'm pretty sure Terrell's out.
He's out.
Yeah, is he?
He's
for
out,
sure?
yeah.
Okay. Then that was my only concern without diving into that ahead of time. I'm full send on Debo. Debo proved numerous times in San Francisco when he was the only guy. Kittle's out, Ayuk's out, McCaffrey's out, yada, yada. We know the drill over here. he's not a typical receiver. He just isn't. So he can take a slant. He can take a pass behind the line of scrimmage. He can take a couple carries. Bill Krosky-Merritt is active, but he's not probably 100% there. So I just think Debo's going to have to be fed in this game. And look, don't tell Jeff, but our Falcons predictions early preseason are not looking great. So I think they're just dejected. I like Pickens a lot. And also, let's give Dave Cruz a shout out here on the Ferguson hype preseason. Honest question. Just pass catchers, playmakers for the Dallas Cowboys. Javante's off to a hot start. We know that. Whatever. I don't know that that's going to last all season. Is Pickens not a number 2 behind Ferguson right now? Serious question.
That's my honest thought too.
I think so. I mean, Ferguson has had 26 targets in the last 2 games. He's just been hyper targeted.
Could you guys have all said the same thing? You've said, I like Pickens as a number 2, yada, yada. Obviously, we mean kind of a secondary receiver. I get it. But just pass catcher, he's a 1B at least. He might be a number 2, right? Obviously, they guard tight ends and receivers differently. But just kind of the point there. I'm going to stick with Keenan Allen in this particular instance. On the previous question, you had all these other weapons that I like more. So I'll go Keenan Allen here. And I'm going to go Debo as well. So I'm going to fade Pickens in this question. But I do think that he could have a nice game. And let's be honest, if Josh Jacobs doesn't have 400 yards and they just run the clock out and play defense, Dak's going to have to chuck it, whether it's pretty or not. So Pickens could have a nice game, but I'm just really worried about that defense right now and that game script and everything. So I'll go with Debo and Keenan Allen.
And his part 2 question?
Yeah, let's go around the horn real quick. Who's the quarterback here, T-Law or Bryce Young?
Real quick, let's see. I'm actually thinking I'm going to take Bryce Young here. New England isn't super great against the quarterback, and the Niners are one of the worst defenses for quarterbacks in fantasy. So I'm going to take Bryce Young. Don't like it a bunch, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, this is where I differ. Looking at the Niners past 3 weeks, they have not allowed a quarterback to pass over 200 yards. Trevor's done it back-to-back weeks. And then looking back at the Niners who they've played, Sam Darnold week 1, a new team. I give them that one. But then they played, Arizona, Kyler, the Marvin Harrison situation. That was really bad. And then week 2, who do they have, Sky? The Saints. Yeah, so there's that. So yeah, so I think the number's a little skewed in the Niners' favor. I think today Trevor has a big game. I think BTJ bounces back. I'm going to keep riding that. So I think Trevor has a good game.
Yeah, I'm going Trevor as well. Those 49ers are, sorry, Sky, but boy, they are just so injured. So many injuries on that time. They lost another big one this week. Bryce, he's okay, but if I'm hoping for Epic, this is a super flex question, not a one quarterback question. But I think Lawrence is probably the higher ceiling play. Honestly, I don't think either one of them are going to run away from the other, but I do like Lawrence a little bit better.
It has to be Trevor Lawrence. I mean, let's just not be a 49er fan for 3 minutes. It has to be Trevor Lawrence, dude. We all love Brian Thomas. Travis Hunter's going to have to choose running back or wide receiver or cornerback here in the next couple weeks. We'll talk about that when it happens, but he's not going to do both. And they just don't have anybody else. It has to be Brian Thomas. It has to be ETN. So I'm going to go Trevor Lawrence out of hope for fantasy football. And Jeff, you're right. I mean, this isn't the AP poll. We don't really care about strength of schedule. And we all knew, by the way, the only way the Niners are 3-0 on accident right now is because they had the weakest schedule coming into the NFL, right, this year. And they've been decimated, lost Bosa as well now. So, yeah, we're well aware. This has been a thing since Shanahan showed up, right? I don't know what they got in the juice out there, but since they moved to fake San Francisco, we just can't stay healthy. It's pretty lame. I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence here. Bryce Young had a really fun game against Atlanta, but in his short career, he's played really well against Atlanta. And as we just said, Atlanta's buns right now. So I'm going to go T-Law here and hope for a nice game from him and Brian Thomas. Niners by 1 point.
In a New Jersey for your closet.
Yeah, Tom Rathman. I mean, let's go. You know what I mean? Seriously, dude's a dog. I mean, he was all-star before all-star. Let's get it. GR, welcome back. Happy Sunday, boys. Happy Sunday to you. Half PPR pick 2. Igbuka. Bucky, my running back 1, if it for what it's worth. So double bucks. Igbuka, Pearsall, Jacoby Myers, Tony Pollard.
Fan of the show?
Half PPR. So I've never been a big worrier about starting 2 guys on the same team. I'm not exactly sure why that's a big deal. I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do no matter who's out there with them. So Igbuka's a start for me. And out of the other 3, I will go with Pearsall here. I just don't think Pollard's going to have a big game against Houston. I do like Jacoby Myers against the Bears, but I'm going to go with Pearsall as kind of the last man standing in San Francisco.
So I think Igbuka will be hyper targeted today. Sterling Shepard might make for an interesting play, and League's desperate for a flex play this week. But damn it, the Raiders are going to bite me again. But I like Jacoby Myers this week. I think he has a really good week. This is based on the slot wide tool. In his matchup today, he's the leading slot receiver for the Raiders, and it's just a really good matchup. So I'm going to go Jacoby and Igbuka today for my 2 choices.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same place with Jeff, and I'm looking at Jacoby Myers, and I'm also looking at his slot versus wide tool. And if you look at the defense, the Bears give up the second most fantasy points right now to wide receivers, and wide receivers are getting more than 50% of all targets, including tight ends and running backs. So their defense is giving up to wide receivers. So it does lend more to a Jacoby Myers focused day. So I think I want that. I want that exposure. It's a half PPR, which I tend to look at running backs first, but of these 4, Pollard is actually probably 4th. So just dismiss that right away. And I agree. I think Igbuka is going to be the number 1 target for Tampa Bay with Evans out and Godwin back, but probably out of pitch count. So I'll take Igbuka and Jacoby for the potential workload.
Thank you, Derek. I was counting the minutes here. We're 43 minutes into the program, and nobody's mentioned Chris Godwin active. Sure, he could be slow week 1. I get it. Igbuka is going to be a start for me, and I'm going to go Pearsall. Geno was fun last week, but you guys are talking about the second best wide receiver on the Raiders here behind Trey Tucker. So I'm not sure about Jacoby Myers at this point. Tennessee is a train wreck. I love Cam Ward. I think he's going to be awesome long-term. He is having a rookie season, and it's rough. He has about 4 really, really great first overall pick throws every week, and the rest are trash. And our boys are caught up in that mix. So Pollard's getting a lot of volume, but I don't like it. And I have to believe that Houston is going to play some version of inspired football against a divisional rival at home this week. So we'll see what happens there. I'm going to fade him and Jacoby. So I'm going to go Ricky P and Igbuka here. And I'm with Dave. If you didn't have Igbuka and Bucky on your team, they would still do what they're going to do within the league. So 2 great players like they are at their positions why not have him on your squad? I don't have an issue. Now, 2 wide receivers or 2 running backs or something like that at the same position on the same team, maybe you can have a discussion, but otherwise, I don't worry about it either. Here we go, gentlemen. Billiam Jones, good morning.
Who?
Oh, that's Billiam Jones.
Who?
Billiam Jones. Pains me to even question this, but I need 2 wide receivers and a flex. Gentlemen, we're picking 3 guys here. Real nice names, though. Let's digest this here. He didn't even take the time for the emojis. He just got the scared emoji with an X. He's nervous. He's worried. That's why we get paid so much money to be here to help the people. Let's make it happen. 2 wide receivers and a flex. We have Chase, which I'm going to believe is Chase Brown. Right? We're not
Jamar.
to like
Jamar.
Is it for sure?
No, I think it's Jamar Chase.
Oh, yeah. God. We're there. That's why he's so nervous. Okay, I'm going to do it with you as I read this. Sorry, Billiam. All right. Jamar Chase, Cortland Sutton, Ricky Pearsall, Michael Pittman, Quentin Johnston, and Tyrone Thornton. Great names. Yikes. How the mighty have fallen quickly.
Yeah, I like Sutton a bunch. I just don't like this matchup. I think the Broncos could throttle the Bengals, in which case I think Chase becomes a hyper target in that game, as long as they could give Jake Browning some time. I like Pittman a bunch. I don't like the matchup against the Rams. I said in one of my articles that Quentin Johnston is a start. I don't like him over Ricky Pearsall, though. I do like him as a wide receiver 3 or a flex. So I guess I would go with Chase, Pearsall, and Johnston. I'm just not on Tyquan Thornton with Xavier Worthy coming back.
Yeah. I don't think you can sit Jamar Chase. Number 1 pick for a reason. I know it's a bad matchup, but you got to start your best players regardless of the situation. I think it's only week 4, so you got to roll with him. I'm going to sit Sutton out of the rest. I think Pearsall is a start. And then my 3rd one will be Quentin Johnston. He's hot. He's the big playmaker for Herbie, and I think that continues. I think the Giants-Chargers game is going to be actually a lot of fun. I think Dart's going to be slinging around for you, Dave, and I think Cam's going to get going, so it's going to be a really fun game, a lot of high scoring. So with that being said, we're going to go with Chase, Pearsall, and Quentin Johnston. I like Pittman, but I think they come back to earth, the Colts today. I think the Rams are going to win by 2 touchdowns. So I'm going to go Ricky P, Quentin, and Chase.
Yeah, I'm not sitting Chase either. Again, just like it's been said, it's not the great matchup. You don't have your star quarterback, but if you look at the game that's on right now, you got a similar situation there, and here we've got Jefferson 8 receptions for almost 100 yards already. So that just tells me that we can be a little bit nervous with Chase, but especially if they get down there, they're going to have to throw, and we know Browning throws. So they're going to focus on trying to get the ball to Chase, just like the Vikings have been with Jefferson today. So even, I think is this a PPR? I think we assume it is. He'll get his numbers. We've already talked about Pearsall. I'm on Pearsall, and I can't believe, Jeff, you're off of Pittman. So looking at our slot wide tool, the Rams give up the 10th most points to wide receivers, 71% of those out wide, right. Yeah. And Pittman's 91% of his points out wide. So this really, and even if they're down, garbage points count too. So I don't mind Pittman here, taking a chance on Pittman, and frankly, I hope they are down a little bit, because then Danny Jones can throw the ball a little bit more. So I'm going to take a roll on Pittman. I talked about the Chargers wide receivers, and again, this feels like a lad game to me. So one of the 3 are going to be the odd man out, and I don't. It's going to be, to me, it's going to be either Quentin or Keenan, and I don't want the 50-50 chance here when I've got someone like a nice matchup with Pittman on the bench. So I'll go Chase, Pearsall, and Pittman.
I'm going to go the same. Yeah, I'm going to go the same. I like Sutton and Quentin Johnson and Thornton in general. But here, you got to roll Chase. Jake Browning had been just fine with Chase 2 years ago. They haven't caught it yet. I think they will eventually. I'm really worried about T. Higgins. Side note, that's the one I'm concerned about. Chase is Chase. But Pearsall and Pittman are starts for me. Can we skip down one extra or two extra? Billiam's got a trade question here too. Let's just get into that real quick. Should I trade Pearsall and Brian Robinson for Kamara?
I probably don't. If you're trading for Kamara expecting a bunch of pass volumes, he's had 10 targets through 3 weeks. They've been using Chris Olave a lot in the short passing game over Keenan Allen. Over Kamara. So I'm probably not doing this trade.
Yeah, I'm not doing it either. I think Pearsall's the best player out of the bunch, and just Kamara's volume from the passing game is concerning. Like you said, they're going to Olave. They're using Juwan Johnson a lot too in the tight end spot, getting a lot of targets. For whatever reason, I just don't feel like this coaching regime change. They're just not utilizing Kamara for whatever reason out of the passing game, and I think it's for a reason. So with that, and then last week when they got blown out, he was riding the bench basically in the fourth quarter, giving time to Keandre Miller and the other backs back there. So I worry later on the season as they continue losing games, he may not be playing as much.
Yeah, I'm going to pass as well. Robinson's a high-end handcuff, and we just saw what happened in Arizona last week, and how the high-end handcuff gets elevated to a volume role. So I'm gonna stand pat. I mean, my only caveat to Billiam is this is a 2-for-1, so he's freeing up a bench spot on his team. What is he doing with that? Does he have someone on injured reserve that he needs to make space for? That's a consideration. Or if someone dropped a player they shouldn't have, and he's just sitting out there waiting to be snagged up, and you need to free the space that you need right now, because Robinson's not an asset right now. I can make an argument for that if that's the situation, but just in a vacuum, the way it sits here, I'm not making this trade.
Yeah, I agree with all you guys. I'm going to stand pat here. Kamara's my boy, has been since he came in the league, but not anymore, and it's just not as much of a difference maker, right? And yeah, unfortunately, if something does happen to CMC, it's wheels up for Brian Robinson. So I would just stick there. We had a Jets fans down in the chat a little bit, but I'll just bring it up right now. We'll get to the next question. Keenan Allen or Alvin Kamara in full PPR today?
Honestly, I'm probably going to go with Keenan Allen. If you're not targeting Kamara in the passing game, then I don't see a lot of upside for him as a running back against the Bills. So I'm starting Allen.
Yeah, I'm full on the Keenan Allen train, and I know Gentleman Sky and Eric are thinking it's a Ladd game. I'm wondering if Ladd is going to be a bust this year. I mean, I just think Keenan Allen is just the slot receiver for this team. Him and Herbert have the trust, and it's no coincidence that the passing game has opened up with the Chargers of Keenan Allen coming on board. And I just think that this is just – it's like Kelsey and Mahomes a couple years ago. They just have this connection. He trusts him. He looks his way. You can force it to Ladd, but I just think that Keenan Allen's the guy for the Chargers. So to answer this question, it's still Keenan Allen, but long-term I do wonder and worry about Ladd.
Yeah, despite what I've said earlier, in this case, I'm gonna go Keenan Allen as well. And the reason for that, really, more than anything else, is I expect Buffalo to roll in this game, quite handily, and when they do, what's the reason for the Saints to be running out Kamara out there and giving him the ball, 18, 20 times. And, we already said he's not being targeted nearly as much. And that's really where his fantasy appeal comes in, frankly, is that. So I actually expect when we look back at the box score later that Kendre Miller is probably the running back today that probably gets the most work. And that's really because of the fact that, that they get behind and, there's not really going to be a reason to play Kamara, the whole game. So I don't expect him to keep it close. So I just don't think he's going to get the workload today, honestly. So in this case, I would take Keenan Allen.
God, it makes me nauseous. Man, it's Keenan Allen here pretty easily. I agree. I mean, you guys bring up game script, and we've never said that ever about Alvin Kamara. It's a thing. It's becoming a thing, and definitely today. It'll probably be ugly quick. Josh Allen might have a college football type day where he just doesn't play the fourth quarter. So we'll see what happens here. But and to your point, and to everybody else, I do think Ladd starts to pick it up, or at least they're going to try to. Like, I hyper watch the targets. I'm a Herbert fan, whatever. I also I'm a West Coast guy. I watch the Chargers. My girl's a big Chargers fan. The targets are there for Ladd. It just they're off a little bit. And Keenan Allen, you're right. They have that mind meld, and he's back. So that is a real thing, with these pass catchers. So I think Ladd will be fine long term, and I think he starts to pick it up this week. But Keenan Allen is Keenan Allen right now, and really hasn't lost a step. I mean, he just ended up playing in Chicago on accident and fell behind, but that's not his fault. So I like Keenan Allen here.
So all the love we're heaping on the Chargers passing games just guarantees that Omarion Hampton's going to have
huge game.
Exactly.
A lot of rushing yards for Cameron Dicker's going to have a career day today. It's going to be nice. Jets fans back. We need 2 here. We have full PPR per usual. I already have Puka in my wide receiver. How about Puka Nacua? I mean, just of all the disasters this year, Puka Nacua is just the absolute best. Puka Nacua, wide receiver 1. And we need 2 more between Cortland Sutton, Odunze, Devontae Adams, and Igbuka.
I'm going with Rome and Igbuka. Devontae Adams has a balky hamstring. They're going back and forth on whether he's going to be a little limited. With these guys, I don't feel a need to start Devontae Adams. And I've already said, as far as Sutton goes, he's probably at best my number 3 out of these guys. So I'm going to go with the Dunze and Igbuka. And nice job with Puka. I said at the end of last year, I really kind of disrespected Puka. No more.
Come on the bandwagon. I've been on the Puka train. I was, fading Adams going into this year. He's proved me wrong there. He's been pretty solid, but Puka is Puka. He is him. I think this is the year he's the number 1 receiver at the end of the season. But to answer the question, I'm going to Dunze and Igbuka as well. I really love Cortland Sutton. I just don't think game script is going to be in his favor this week. So Dunze is number 1 for Caleb. We love Caleb. 3rd in points for quarterbacks. So Dunze continues it. And then Igbuka, it will be the number 1 today. So got to keep rolling with him.
Yeah, so I agree with everything that both Dave and Jeff said, except we love Caleb. I don't want to agree with that specifically, but as far as their take on this this issue, I'm totally in agreement. Puka, Odunze, and Igbuka as your starting 3, and just forget it. Just set it and forget it.
Derek, this is totally on the spot. If you want to take a second, just tell me and you can answer after I'm done. 3 favorite USC quarterbacks all time. And I'll come back to you in a second. 3 favorite USC quarterbacks all time. Puka's already in the lineup, but obviously he's in there. And how fun is it now? I know Stafford's at the tail end of his career, but his number one guy is the best in fantasy football. And the number two guy, when healthy, is top 10, at least as well. Like, just, we couldn't ask for a better situation. I love Devontae Adams in general and moving forward, but I'm going to agree with Dave. You don't need to force it right now, and veteran kind of stuff, any tweaks, he's going to be limited or out. So right here, I'm just going to play it safe. Odunze is absolutely on fire. I was joking-ish about dropping DJ Moore earlier, but that's just something that we're never going to see, unfortunately, his ceiling. So Odunze is an automatic, and then I'm going to ride Ibuka. I think Chris Godwin, if nothing else, is going to catch a couple short area targets and get warm this week, maybe even a touchdown. But I think he's going to be more of kind of a he's back decoy guy. Ibuka is obviously cementing his position there, and with Mike Evans out, I just think he gets peppered. So I'm going to go with Odunze and Ibuka pretty handily here with Puka. Derek, go ahead.
All right. Well, going old school, Rodney Peete.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's a great pull.
And I give him props just for being, Mr. Holly Robinson. That's why he comes number one.
Okay.
Yeah. Rodney Peete, give me Carson Palmer.
Mm-hmm.
Loved him.
He's an auto for me.
Yeah. His season or his career didn't go where it probably should have. And, probably the third one's tough. I love me some Rob Johnson, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Another one from the past. He never made it in the NFL, really, but other than a few handful of games. But I always liked him as a player. I thought he was he had a lot of potential. He just didn't make it. Give me those three. I'm going old school today.
Dave, you got some old school blood in you. You got a hand.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Any answer that doesn't include Todd Marinovich is wrong.
I was there. I was close.
So, any of the podcast listeners, we do have some boomers on the program. So if you need to Google some of these names, feel free. Rodney Peete is such a great pull. Damn. Yeah, that's awesome. Nice. And they've had a great string. Obviously, some of the modern guys as well, but all time, I don't think they hold the candle there.
Yeah, he can actually act a little bit too. Yeah, I don't know if you saw his. He had a couple guest spots on Ballers. That was really good as the athletic director for USC. So that was
okay.
A little bit of acting from the wife. Giving some tips, but Rodney Peete. I always like
nice.
Well,
you know what?
He also acted like an NFL quarterback, so there's that.
Yeah, fair. I love about our team and our panel so much is when one of us is gone, the rest of us pick up the slack. Styles isn't here for the pop culture reference for the kids out there. And look at Favret, just immediately filling the gap with the pop culture references. Well done, sir. Nice job. All right, boys, I'm going to get into a couple of these like lightning questions, and then I need to step away for just about 5 or 10 minutes. So let's get into that. And shouts out to my boy, Jim Harbaugh. Still undefeated with the Los Angeles Football Chargers. Morning, fellas. Couple of questions here. We got half PPR. We got to start one in the flex out of these options. DeAndre Swift. I believe it's DeAndre Swift, but that's okay. DeAndre Swift, Deebo Samuel, Quinshon Judkins, and DJ Moore.
Yeah, half PPR. I'm going to go with Quinshon Judkins. And I know Swift has got a decent matchup. I just don't like that he's constantly on the injury report and constantly questionable. I'm going to go with Deebo over DeAndre Swift. Moore's kind of a pass for me, even though it's a great matchup against the Raiders.
I think hold on a second. Is it just one in the flex?
Yeah,
I read it that way too, Dave.
Okay.
But I think it's
sorry about that. Then it's Judkins.
I read it that way originally as well. Yeah. Okay. Judkins it is. Jeff?
Yeah. I really like Judkins. I know he was faded early on because of his issues off the field, but clearly Cleveland thinks he's their RB1 now that he's finally back on the team. And to Dave's point with DeAndre Swift, it is concerning that he is always on the injury report. But I do think Swift has a a good game. Actually, maybe not. Raiders are pretty good against the run, so I'm going to go with Judkins.
I want to say Judkins because of the volume. Detroit's been pretty good stopping the run. I'm looking at my running back metrics right now, and it doesn't jump out to me there, but he will get the volume. I'm a little out on Swift as well because of the injury. Dave mentioned that, and I agree with that. And DJ Moore just hasn't showed up, and of course today might be the day he does that. But yeah. Flex, I'm going to look at ceiling. I'm going to look at workload, look at the floor. I'll go with Judkins as well. If I'm risky, if the rest of my roster is pretty tight, I might take a chance with Debo just because of the fact that, the Commanders have to use their playmakers, and he's really the only one left other than Mariota. So I may go Debo if the rest of my roster is solid, or my opponent already has some points logged below expected. I might take a chance at Debo, but otherwise I'll take Judkins.
I'm going to go Judkins here too. Browns get boat raced in Detroit. Doesn't matter. They're going to have to use him. He's involved in the passing game outside of Amari Hampton like last week. Judkins might end up being the best rookie running back at the end of the year. Slow start as we know, but he looks solid. So we'll see what happens. Let's get to this next lightning question here, and then I'll take a break. In a separate league, full PPR, need to start one wide receiver out of these guys. We got Waddle, DJ Moore, Mooney, and Calvin Ridley. Something is telling me to start Mooney, who is due to have a breakout. That is true, but he plays for the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm really not a big fan of Michael Penix right now. So I'm kind of out of these guys. Mooney's probably second or third. I'm Ridley and Cam Ward is just limiting any upside to Ridley. Love Moore against the Raiders, but I think I'm going to go with Waddle here.
Let's see. I know we're down on our Falcons, but I do think they're back at home. Atlanta plays much better at home. I think Mooney and that offense gets going, and I think Mooney's a big part of the reason why. I do like Drake London in this start, but I think there is room for Mooney to excel as well. So out of these, Waddle's been touchdown dependent with Tua. Still don't trust Tua, so I'm going to roll with Mooney in this one.
I hope you guys are right with Mooney, but
same.
The way I look at this, I'm kind of reading between the lines here. If you're considering Mooney, you're just looking for a ceiling play. And so to me, that pulls me back to which quarterback do I trust the most to have the biggest game. And believe it or not, although we don't love him, Caleb Williams is the one for me that that provides that opportunity. And when I compare Waddle and DJ Moore, they're both getting about 5 to 6 targets per game. So there's nothing. I mean, and pretty solid. Both of them are right there, and there's no peaks and valleys. They're right there. That's their average. So between the two, I just trust Chicago. I trust Caleb Williams a little bit more to put the ball in the hands of the wide receiver. So, and I'm looking at a ceiling play. Give me DJ Moore for the breakout.
God, exactly what Derek said, but I'm going to choose Waddle. I don't know. Prime time. Caleb's fine. It's been a doomsday all day, and Caleb's running the ball too, which is obviously inflating his stats, which is great. So I love DJ Moore. I want Mooney to succeed. I love Calvin Ridley too, but I need to see it from everybody. I don't like Waddle straight up. I'm going to pick him in this particular situation. So I feel like we were not helpful at all on that question, and I apologize. I think we're 2-1-1 in favor of Mooney. Is that correct?
Yeah, 0
so
for Ridley.
Okay. Yeah, man. Io Manor. It's my dog. Fun in Dynasty, but like it's just happening there. So yeah, I want to see it with Mooney. I really do, and I think it's coming too. But we got to see it. Jeff, quick question: if I'm gone for 6 minutes and I come back, will you have time for pick'ems, or you got to go?
Yeah, I'm good till 11:15 Central Time.
11:15 Central Time.
6 minutes.
Hold on. Let me Google. Yeah, 6 minutes. That's exactly.
6 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll be back in. I'll be back in 3 minutes.
You got it.
All right, Dave, you want to start this one off? Let's do a nice, easy quarterback question here while we're waiting for Scott to come back.
Do I start Dak tonight or go on waivers for Geno or Mariota? I've got to. To me, I know it's a tough matchup. I've got to go with Dak in Dallas over Geno or Mariota. I know Geno's got a nice matchup, but I don't think Mariota's got a great matchup down in Atlanta at all, and they've got a ton of injuries. I know he runs a lot, so there's that upside to consider, but I'm going to go with Geno. I'm going to go with Dak Prescott over Geno Smith.
Yeah, no, I can see why you'd consider Geno. The Bears rely on the third most points to quarterbacks. That could be a decently high-scoring affair. But, Dak is Dak. The volume is there. Packers are giving up the second fewest points to quarterbacks, so you're worried about that. And, over-under for y'all on this one, sacks for Parsons or interceptions by Dak? Which one is more?
Parsons.
Dak for me.
So
he could still throw 4 touchdowns, but I think Parsons probably is not going to get a lot of sacks.
I wouldn't be surprised if Parsons gets 3 sacks and Dak those 2. So I'm going to go Parsons. But for the answer to the question, I think you got to go with Dak, at least to see what it looks like. I want to trust Geno. I've been burned. I just can't continue getting burned by the Raiders, so I'm going to roll with Dak.
Yeah. None of these. Well, I mean, there's no answer that sticks out, other than, staying with Dak, and despite the matchup, and typically, you roll with your best players. I don't hate Mariota today, to be honest with you. I really don't. I mean, it is Atlanta, and they're back at home, and they're, just coming off of an embarrassment. So you can see them stepping up, but those rushing yards do matter. So I don't know if I have to drop Dak to pick him up, then no, definitely not doing that. But I don't mind starting Mariota today. It just depends on what he needs to roster move he would have to make to get him. But I don't mind starting Mariota, but otherwise I would stick with Dak.
Right on cue.
Yeah, did I come back just in time for Mariota shade?
You did.
Let's be careful.
No, I actually picked him.
Actually, Derek loves Mariota.
Sorry. I apologize.
You missed the shade.
Got it.
So, give us a real quick, because Jeff's got to leave, but give us real quick. What do you have here? Stick with Dak or go off to the waiver wire and pick up Geno or Mariota?
If you're dropping Dak, don't do that. If you can get Dak somewhere else and pick up Mariota and play him, I would absolutely do that. Geno has the best matchup in the league this week, but I don't trust him. Do not drop Dak, but if you have room, make room for Mariota. Gentlemen, we're going to do this lickety-split because it's fun. Jeff, I got 2.5 minutes. No analysis. Let's be professionals. I need a team name. That's it. We're going to crush this out. Here we go. I had Pittsburgh, and it looks like Dave. Who's in the middle there?
Jeff.
No, Jeff had Pittsburgh as well. The rest of you guys had Minnesota. I had Arizona. Jeff had Minnesota and Seattle. All right, moving on here. We got Washington and Atlanta. Atlanta at home. Jeff, who you got? Just a team name.
ATL.
Yeah, Falcons for me.
Same for me.
All right, I'm going to go with Washington. Shout out my boy Mariota. Go Ducks. New Orleans at Buffalo. Buffalo 16 touchdown favorites. Everybody's got Buffalo. I'll make that one quick. Next up, another wash here. Detroit at home, hosting Cleveland Browns. We're going to go Lions all the way across. Dave, not very interesting yet. We'll see what happens. All right, moving on here. Houston hosting Tennessee. Both teams 0-3. Houston accidentally a touchdown plus favorite at home. Wild. Who you guys got? Jeff?
Texans.
Houston.
Yeah, I'll go with Houston as well.
Oof, I'm going to reluctantly be interesting for Dave and go Tennessee. I hate it. I'm just going to mix it up. New England hosting Carolina. Both teams 1-2. Everybody has the Patriots. We got the Giants hosting the Chargers. 3-0 versus 0-3. Everybody's got the Chargers. Moving down here, probably the game of the week, actually. Tampa Bay 3-0 hosting Philadelphia 3-0. You know Styles is rolling with the Bucks. Who you guys got?
In honor of Styles, I'm going Tampa Bay.
Philadelphia for me.
Actually, of note, I note there actually Styles has Philadelphia.
He does have Philadelphia. I think it's Philly on the books because he wants to win. It's Tampa Bay in his heart.
And I have it on good accord. He made that pick after he left the Tampa area, so he wouldn't catch local shade. But I'm going with Tampa. I'm going
to go Tampa too. I'm going to go Tampa as well. Shout out Monty Kiffin. Colts 3-0, Rams 2-1. Everybody has the Rams for the home quote unquote upset versus Daniel Jones here. We got the 49ers and Jacksonville Jaguars. Jeff and I will figure out our wager off air. 3-0 Niners, 2-1 Jags. Who you got, Jeff?
Jags.
Last chance, bro. All right, fair. Go ahead, Dave.
Niners.
I'm going with the Jags upset.
Yes. All right, I'll go with the Niners not upset. AFC game of the week, Chefs, Baltimore, both 1-2. Doesn't make any sense, but here we are. We got the Ravens and Chiefs.
I'm going Chiefs. Baltimore seems to be frustrated with their miscues, so I think Kansas City continues to cause them.
Yeah, with the injuries that Baltimore's having, I started to go with Baltimore, but I saw the injury report. I'm going to go with the Chiefs at home.
No, I'm going with Baltimore with the NFL upset. Not the point spread upset, but the NFL upset.
Yeah, I want the Ravens to win this game, and if the NFL lets them play the game, they're a much better team, but I'm going to go Chiefs based on the pick 'em. 4 more games here, Raiders and Bears.
No more Vegas for me, Chicago.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with the Raiders this time. I think the Bears defense is just bad enough to give the Raiders a shot here.
Yeah, I picked the Raiders when we did this. The more we talk about it, I like the Bears, but I picked the Raiders. I'll stick with it at home.
You can change picks up until kickoff. That's the rules. I'm going to go Bears here. We got Dallas and Green Bay. It's a wash for Green Bay. No surprise there. They are on the road, so we'll see what happens there for Styles and the boys. Miami and the New York Football Jets.
You know, I had Miami, but I'm changing it. I'm going the Jets.
Yeah, I had the Jets, and I'm sticking with the Jets.
I have Miami, and this is a coin flip game to me. On paper, the Jets should win this game, but I'll go with the home team.
Mike McDaniel saves his job for one more week in primetime. I'm going to go with the Miami Football Dolphins. Last game of the day, the week, I should say, the Monday night recap. It's going to be the Denver Broncos and Cincinnati Bengals. Everybody has Denver here as well. Styles leading the poll so far. The rest of us got to make up the slack. Jeff, best of luck on the ice, my man.
Appreciate it, fellas. That'll be good.
You too.
See you, Matt.
All right, Derek.
See you, Jeff.
Pick us up where we're at here. Everybody else, we got about 40 minutes to kick off. Gentlemen, of course, don't forget to massage your own lineups here. Let's make sure we got things going on here. And drop that, 16 leg touchdown, anytime touchdown parlay. Not that we condone betting. We don't. But if you're going to do that, go for it. Let's see here. Dropping in a couple more extra guys. Nice. We got some newbies coming up here in just a second. For those of you just tuning in, this is the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. We got all your start-sit questions. Feel free to drop them in. Follow everything on X at Razzball NFL. Follow us right here on the YouTube channel. And make sure to hit that bell and subscribe. And, of course, you can follow us on the podcast as well as you go along at the Razzball Fantasy Football Podcast. And all of our articles and all of our great tools, slot versus wide, we've referenced numerous times. We also have weekly recaps. We have rankings. We have the new offensive line tool as well that everybody's utilizing here with our articles and for the knowledge. So go check out all of those tools available at football.razzball.com. All right, Hiram, good morning. Nice to have you back. Start one here, PPR. Lots of Ridley questions. Ridley's been in, 90% of these questions this morning. Calvin Ridley, Romeo Doubs, Darnell Mooney, Stephon Diggs sighting. Yikes, I don't even think we've mentioned them this season. And our boy Tillman.
There's actually some really nice matchups here. Ridley is not one of them. And you would think Diggs is not either, but the interior of the Carolina defense has been softer. But I still can't go with Diggs. So it leaves Tillman, Mooney, and Dobbs. And Dallas is the worst against wide receivers. And I know the Green Bay the Green Bay offense is kind of like you just roll the dice to see which receiver pops in a given week. And this week I'm going to go with Dobbs.
Yeah, it's going to be Dobbs for me too. He's primarily getting his points out wide, and that is where Dallas is a little vulnerable. So, and I can make arguments against all the other ones as well. So, give me Dobbs here.
Wow. Now I want to go Mooney. I faded him in the last one, but he makes the most sense. Yeah, I'll go Mooney. I just don't know what's going on in Green Bay. And Josh Jacobs might just get 40 opportunities to keep Dak off the field. So I'll go with Mooney in this. He is back. Billiam Jones.
Who?
Billiam Jones. And we got emojis. Well done, my man. He's the stress relief. You could just feel the stress relief after we answered that question for him earlier. Need some running back depth. Rank these guys. Blake Corum of the Rams. Brian Robinson of the 49ers. Braylon Allen of the Jets. And the Washington running back room. So whatever pieces we can get of Chris Rodriguez, Bill Krosky-Merritt. We have anybody else in there?
Not worth mentioning. Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, okay. Fair. And Deebo Samuel. Okay, fair enough.
McNichols.
Yeah, McNichols had the huge run last week, but hasn't been very involved otherwise. But yes, he is a factor there. So we're more so just ranking these guys. I don't know that he's actually playing anybody right now. It's probably for waivers and bench priority. So who do you got here of the high-end handcuffs?
Yeah, it doesn't look like a start sit. It looks like a roster question. So I'm going to rank it Robinson, Corum, Braylon Allen, and Washington.
Yeah, that's if he was asking for a starter, I would say whichever you prefer out of the Washington room, the running back room. And to me, it's Rodriguez. Matt asked me this before he got on the boat, and between Bill and Rodriguez, and I told him I was leaning Rodriguez a little bit more. But if it's just bench depth, I I'm highest on Allen of all of these. He is getting some run, and the Jets still like to run the ball, so I like that there. We talked about Robinson earlier. I mean, he's a high end handcuff. I'm not as high on Corum as some others in, like I said, whichever room. So I'll go this way. Give me Allen, the Commanders, Robinson, then Corum. That would be my rank.
Boy, these questions are fun because they're really just like hypotheticals, but they're also, I hate talking about them. Just like speaking negativity into existence here. If any of these guys become relevant, it's bad news, right? I think that's what we're talking about here. But assuming Bill Krosky-Merritt is a starter, I'm not considering him in this because he's automatic for me because he's the starter right now. But otherwise, I would actually go Corum, who's already played quite well, and Kyron's fine. But I do think Corum would just fill the gap. Brian Robinson would be awesome in San Francisco. And then Braylon Allen. I drafted Braylon Allen in every league, literally, as a handcuff, whether I had Brees or not. But he hasn't done much with his limited opportunity this year. And now Fields healthy again, clearing protocol for Monday night. I think he's running the ball as well. So I'm going to go with Corum, Robinson, Allen, and then McNichols or Rodriguez for Washington. I'm just not considering Bill Krosky because he's the starter in my opinion.
Is he though? I mean, we only got one data point. Yeah, we only got one data point, and that's last week, and they were essentially split in half.
Yeah, he hasn't played more than 40% of the snaps, so.
Yeah,
I get it. I guess
he's a little bit injured too, so I that's why I like Rodriguez a little better today, and then we'll see how it shakes out with the snaps and carries. But
I just see it differently. When Eckler was healthy and they were splitting the first game and a half, Bill was that guy, and I just think he's got the burst, right? Like Chris Rodriguez is the vet; he's going to be in there on pass protection, can obviously catch the ball, that kind of stuff. McNichols has the speed. I just think Krosky-Merritt. Now, 7th round pick. You never know with these guys, But Philip Lindsay blew up for 2 years and disappeared, and I think Bill can as well. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to take it basically as read. All right, Beach. Good morning. Matt Stiles says hi. And Beach, by the way, I know you're late to the program. You usually tune in the back half of the the back half of the show. Stiles is on the beach and beyond right now. So shouts out. Good morning, Sky and the Razzball team. Good morning, my man. Half PPR here. Start one, Devontae Adams, Tetaroa McMillan, and Travis Etienne. Cheers.
Half PPR. I'm going to go with Etienne. Tet is banged up. Devontae Adams has a bad hamstring. I'm going to go with Etienne in half.
Yeah, same for me. I like the running back in the half point PPR. He does get a few targets as well, but go with the running back.
Oh, yikes. I'm going to go running back as well. I don't think he has a great game against the Niners, but I want to see Tet actually blow up, and Adams a little bit sketchy here. So Etienne, I guess, as well, but that's reluctant. I think Adams could be just fine if he stays healthy. Nice to see you, Beach. What's up, Rob? Good morning. PPR, Matthew Golden, Wan'Dale Robinson. Oof. We're looking at like second flex, gentlemen.
That is a good question for me. It's Wan'Dale to me is never the ceiling play. He could definitely be the volume play. And Golden could actually blow up today, finally. I'm going to go with Golden if I want ceiling, Robinson if I want floor.
Yeah, this one's tough because we've got the new quarterback, and they're, playing the Chargers tough D. So I don't know. That was risky. Golden, he's only getting 2 or 3 targets per game on average so far, but that matchup is certainly a lot better for the Packers. Yeah, this one is tough. This has to be one of the last, if not the last, position on the team. Flex 2, PPR, new quarterback. I think I'm going to lean Wandale on this, and not necessarily for the ADOT, but really more for, hopefully he brings in 6 receptions and you'll take whatever yards and anything else you get from it. I just think there's more meat on that bone than Golden, who's only he's probably the better player overall, or eventually will be at the height of his career. But there's just so much uncertainty on who gets the ball there, and he's just not getting that many targets. So let me go with Wandale on this one.
Boy, I think I said it earlier, exactly what Derek said, but for the other guy.
But the opposite.
So I think Matthew I get it. Vegas made a call last week. He goes out of bounds. We know the drill. He's getting more targets. There's not a definite number one over there. Hasn't been for a while. He could be that guy. We all loved him preseason. Jeff loves the dude in Dynasty. So I'm actually going to go Golden here. I do think that this is a breakout game. The Cowboys, gentlemen, listen to this. Derek, you like nerd stats like this. Dave, you as well. The Dallas Cowboys secondary has conceded 12.7 yards per, not reception, target. They've conceded 13 yards per target to wide receivers this year. That's phenomenally horrendous. I think the Packers, and if Jordan Love wants to go nuts this week after a dud and getting upset by the Browns last week, if they want to go nuclear this week, I think they're going to be able to. I think that starts with Matthew Golden, and he comes back with a big game. So I'm going to go Matthew Golden here. All right. Bon de apart. I tried last week. Of course, this morning, if you're late to the program, everybody, I made an American error and botched, some Ireland, UK situation. Dave corrected me. He's more of a world's journeyman. Dave, you want to give this pronunciation a try here? How's your French?
I'm sorry, I kind of lost you there.
That's okay. Would you like to give this a pronunciation here? I think it's bon de apart. Is that close? I think that's silent, right? Yeah. Okay. Derek, how's your French?
Yeah. I think you're pretty spot on, to be honest with you.
All right, great. I'm back. I'm a little awake now. I'm rolling off negative hours of sleep, so I think I'm a little bit more on my zone. I love language and geography, and botched 2 of them earlier this morning, so unacceptable. I apologize. DST question. For those of you that play with defenses, they do matter. Shouts out to the Vikings putting up 33 fantasy points last week. Rams, Falcons, Commanders, Dolphins, Titans. If we need matchups, I can rattle those off to you. Otherwise, go for it.
Yeah. I kind of like the Rams. Really don't care much for the Commanders in this game. For me, it's never the Dolphins and never the Titans. So I'm going to go with Atlanta against a really beat up Commanders team.
Yeah, it sounds strange to pick an Atlanta team that just gave up a 30 spot to Carolina. But looking at the other matchups, I think that's the one that makes the most sense to me. So, give me Atlanta at home. Again, I think they were just embarrassed, and they're a better team than that. We saw that when they went up to Minnesota. So give me the Falcons today.
Yikes. So 2 things with DSTs that are like auto things that I look at, and then I start diving deeper if I need to. I want my DST at home when possible and favored, just because that kind of gives me an idea that, the powers that make these decisions think that the team's going to win. in that particular case, with those two matchups, right away I go to the Rams. They're at home and they're favored. We know the Colts have been the hottest team in football. Daniel Jones is playing out of his mind. Jonathan Taylor is absolutely unstoppable. 3 touchdowns last week. However, this game's in LA. The Colts got to come across country. I think they get humbled a little bit. I think the Rams get that dub, and I think that they play well. I don't like any of these matchups. I got to be totally honest. As far as like a big boom game, anybody could have a turnover, a block kick, that kind of thing. The Dolphins would maybe qualify, but they're horrendous. So I don't trust the rest of them. And the Falcons are at home, but they're not favored. I do think that Washington has a nice game. So I'm going to go with the Rams here. I don't think we were very, very helpful on that one.
Actually,
Second question.
The Falcons are favored in that game.
Are they?
Yeah.
This is per, I believe you. This is per Wednesday. When I update our sheets, I have Washington 2.5-point favorites. Did it swing a full field goal?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Once you lost Daniels and you lost McLaurin and you lost Noah Brown and Bill was questionable. Yeah, that game turned all the way around. Okay,
that's fair. I'm still going to roll with the Rams. I apologize for being inaccurate on that. That's my bad.
Yeah, I'm showing Atlanta -2.5.
Oh, they flipped the script 5 points. Damn. I just assumed they were going to keep Jaden out. McLaurin I get, but wow. Okay. So disregard half of what I said. Either way, I'll stick with the Rams on that. But I didn't realize that the line had flipped that much. Thank you for correcting me, gentlemen. This is part 2 here. Start 2.5 PPR. Ridley again. Coleman, Golden, Harvey. RJ Harvey.
Well, let's break it down. I'm not a big fan of Ridley with Ward. Keon Coleman had a big volume day when they had to throw a ton. I don't think the Bills are going to have to throw much today at all. So he's kind of out. Golden's got a great matchup, but it's already been pointed out that he's not a big volume guy. He could be one of these days, but and to me, Harvey just doesn't have enough of a role yet in Denver. He just hasn't earned that spot. So I'm going to go with wow. I can't believe I'm saying this. Half PPR. I think I'm gonna if. Ridley's kind of a floor play for me. Golden, if I really want the ceiling.
They're starting 2, so.
Okay, well then those are my 2. I'm not starting Coleman or Harvey this week.
Yeah, if it's unfortunate that Harvey doesn't have a role because this is actually a pretty good opportunity for him.
And he's awesome.
Yeah, but Dave's right. Dave's right. I mean, he's not getting the work yet. And you got to roll with Dobbins while they're healthy. So I'm gonna fade Harvey, and I'm gonna fade Ridley as well. We're just not seeing that connection there, and he's not the number 1 by any means. So just process elimination. I'll take Coleman and Golden, but I don't really love any of these in a half PPR, to be honest with you. But I'll take Coleman and Golden. I mean, I think Buffalo's going to roll out, and maybe Coleman gets one of those touchdowns to get them that 4 touchdown lead by halftime, and he probably won't play much in the second half, but at least you'll get the 1.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I'm going to go Ridley reluctantly. I have to believe that they turn it up. They've been talking behind the scenes, this week about getting him uploaded, and they still believe in him and all this shit, whatever. I got to see it happen here. So I'm going to go Ridley, and I like Golden quite a bit this week, so that's easy for me. I like Harvey a lot. I know based on playing time and running back guru, he's not that good. I get it, or he would be out there. I just disagree. I do think he's that good. It hasn't worked out yet. So I'm going to wait on Harvey, and Coleman I'm just going to fade because I think the Bills get too excited too early. And we get Shakir going there. Caleb lovers, shout out Matt Stiles. Are we dropping Fannin in a Jawan and Fannin situation until Kittle returns? So we have Jawan and Fannin because Kittle's on IR. For Williams, and playing matchups with him and Drake May. I don't have any other drops outside of Io Manor. So there's a lot going on here. We picked up Fannin and Juwan Johnson when Kittle went down. So who are we playing? And then of those, the guy you're not playing, are you dropping that player to pick up Caleb Williams to then sit Drake May? Or are you rolling Drake May? Or do you just disregard all that and pick and drop Io Manor?
Out of the two tight ends, if I'm only keeping one, I'm going to keep Johnson over Fannin. I love Fannin, but Johnson has just been such a big part of their offense all season. So if you want to get rid of one for Caleb Williams, and I kind of agree fading May today, I would drop Fannin for Williams. But overall, I think I'm until Kill comes back, and who knows when he's coming back. There's no word that hamstring could be a big problem for the rest of the season. I kind of favor hanging on to both of the tight ends and not making a 1 week pickup for Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I'm looking up. Doesn't Pittsburgh have an early bye? They do. They've got a bye next week.
Yeah, after the travel from Ireland.
Yeah. So that's going to present a problem next week.
Where does Pittsburgh come into this question?
Hold on. Hold on. Let me.
He's noodling.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
He might have had Heath Miller on the list on accident.
Maybe that's what it was. It was. For today, I'm doing exactly what Dave said early on. I want Caleb Williams over Drake May. I don't love him, but I like him enough that I want him in the lineup today. So if that means having to drop Fannin, then I'm okay to do that. Stick with Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, and one other thing, I'm definitely not dropping Ao Manor.
Same. He's the number. I mean, we've been talking all morning. Literally, Calvin Ridley's been in 90% of these questions, and we're all fading him because he hasn't done as well as we thought. And a lot of that is because Ao Manor's been the guy. Strong rookie, wasn't really talked about preseason. Jeff's been hyping him, and he's our dynasty guy. So I've been in. But yeah, I agree. I'm going to keep Juwan as well. Juwan Johnson is one of the best target shares of any player in the entire NFL. So I'm keeping him. Hang on to Kittle, of course. And I'm keeping Ao Manor as well. So I would drop Fannin, pick up Caleb, and then this week I would play Caleb. Drake May is awesome, and he's baby Josh Allen. Maybe that happens long term. The matchup against Carolina is good because they're bad, but Travion Henderson hopefully takes off today, and they might run all over him. And outside of rushing opportunity, you may not get a lot out of Drake May. So I'm going to go Caleb Williams, drop Fannin, keep Juwan, keep Ao Manor. There's a lot going on there. That was a fun question. Like lightning, got to start one in full PPR. We got Pitts, Strange, and Fannin's back. Would you drop Fannin if I wanted Strange? Have been thinking about it all week. Such is life with fantasy football.
To tell you the truth, in this question, one of the softer areas for the 49ers is the tight end position. I'm tempted to roll out Strange today and not Fannin. I don't like dropping Fannin for Strange, but I guess I could. I'm for Kyle Pitts. I don't know until Michael Penix gets it figured out. I'm not a big fan of their receivers at all. So I would start Strange today. I'm not a big fan of dropping Fannin, but I could see doing it.
Yeah, I want Strange in my lineup today as well. And I'm okay with dropping Fannin. I mean, he's still behind Njoku on that depth chart. he's just not. He's not doing enough fantasy wise to say that he's a must keep on the roster. I think you can drop him, and you can probably pick him back up during the bye weeks. And he'll be sitting there probably when everyone else is shuffling around. So I'm going to drop Fannin because I need to win. I want to win today, and I don't want to roll with Pitts, and I certainly don't want to roll with Fannin today. So I want Strange, and if that means dropping Fannin, I'm okay to do that.
Yeah, I'll roll with you guys. I'm just gonna stay drunk on Pitts. I know it's dumb. I super acknowledge that. I got to do it though. Got to do it. I'm sticking with Pitts. Njoku is not going anywhere. He's just not the hotness. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't want to drop Fannin either. But if I had to, I would. I'm with you guys. So I'm gonna start Pitts personally, and I would drop Fannin if I have to. Best stash: Ray Davis, Will Shipley, Dylan Sampson.
Wow. I am not a big fan of Dylan Sampson. I know he's a shiny new object, and he got some work in the passing game early when before Judkins signed. Will Shipley is the I guess the handcuff for Saquon Barkley. Ray Davis just hasn't been showing me a lot this year, but I think he probably has got a good volume chance if for some reason James Cook gets hurt. So I guess I'm going with Ray Davis.
Yeah, actually, this is pretty easy for me, and it is Ray Davis because he's the clear starter if something happens to Cooks. So Shipley, he's got A.J. Dillon there getting more snaps than him, and don't forget Tank Bigsby's still on that roster as well in that room, and he hasn't really done anything in Philly yet. But if we see Barkley go out, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Shipley is the guy. I think it's a three-headed monster at best, and that doesn't do anything for me. But if Davis gets the role, a la Trey Benson last week, granted he didn't do much with it, but he is the starter. There's no question, and that's what we want in fantasy. We want more for sure things than question marks, and Ray Davis is that for me. So it's clearly Ray Davis in my mind.
Yep, same ways. I want the offense, and I like the player. I do like Dylan Sampson more than Dave does, but it's Quinshon all day, and I like Ray Davis there.
And that's all our questions.
Beautiful.
Right now.
Cool. We got about 10 minutes to kick off. We got any last minute questions anybody has? Do it. We got a final over in Ireland. The Steelers. Can we give a shout out to Kenny Gainwell, who I repped 12 years ago and was like, he's better than Miles Sanders in Philadelphia, and everybody laughed me off the set for 2 years, and he's finally getting an opportunity for a week, and he's awesome. Just want to throw that out there. Big day for Rodgers. So those guys go out on a bye. Folks, you got to be ahead of the game on bye weeks. Beat the waiver wire, whatever you got to do today. If you got a free square, go do that right now. Get ahead of your squad when it doesn't cost any fab. Start bolstering the lineup if you need to. Get ahead of those bye weeks. And again, all of our information's available on X at Razzball NFL. We got the subscriptions here on YouTube and the podcast as well. And of course, you can find all of our exclusive tools and all of our articles at football.razzball.com. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to get our lineups ready to go as well. If we don't have any other questions, let me just get one more peek. We do not. We appreciate all you hanging out with us. Styles has got the bye week. Jeff took off a little bit early, but for Derek, Dave, and myself, we're the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. We've appreciated you, and enjoy your week 4, and best of luck. We'll catch you next time on the Razzball Fantasy Football Show.